Okay, can you try now?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
All right. Is it clear now?
Yes, we can see your screen clearly, Miss Hadeel.
Excellent. Okay, so بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. So today's topic, I think it's a hot topic, not only for teachers but for every professional. It's the topic of well-being, of course, in the digital age. Now, let's go through the agenda. We will start by setting the context and just briefly discussing education in the digital age. And then we will talk about the impact on teachers' well-being. And of course, we will end the session or the presentation with strategies for teachers or to promote teachers' well-being. Now, what do we mean by education in the digital era? Okay, just let me check if I can see the chat box. Yes, excellent. Okay, so what comes to your mind when you think about education in the digital era or technology in education or similar concepts? What comes to your mind? Just briefly in the chat box, please. Okay, learning and teaching using technology. Okay. Okay, so Samiha here says that learning and teaching using technology. What else? What comes to your mind when you think about technology? Do you think of it as a challenge or an opportunity? Okay, Mr. Sneem says, preparing our learners for the future job market. Yes, an excellent point. All right. So do you think it's more of a challenge or an opportunity? Just before we read the definition. Yeah, it's probably both. Now, when we think about, or when we try to define education in the digital age, it refers to, of course, the integration of digital technologies and tools into the teaching and learning process. And it involves the use of digital devices, software applications, online platforms, and internet resources to enhance educational experiences and outcomes. And I really like the word enhance educational experiences. Ms. Nassim here says, a tool where we can enhance our teaching and learning. Exactly, Mr. Sneem. Ms. Samiha says it can be quite challenging, but if we use it correctly, it's a huge opportunity, definitely. Now, the digital revolution has transformed the way education is delivered. Now, education now is more, or education using technology is more accessible, interactive, and personalized. And as it became an integral part of education, it enabled us, or it enabled new modes of instruction, collaboration, and assessment. And I don't think that it has only changed how education is delivered. It has also changed, or at least should change, what education our students need or our students should get. Now, when we talk about technology in education, there are 3 facts that we know. First, technology is dangerous. It's risky. There are many issues like cyberbullying, academic dishonesty. Technology can be addictive. It is distracting to our students, and I know it's a concern for teachers to introduce, for example, mobile phones in classrooms because of the risk of distracting students. Probably students will use these cell phones to run through their social media instead of participating with the teacher. But when you think about it, when students are using their mobile phone, they are learning all the time, meaning that it's not necessarily the thing that we want them to learn, but it's a really powerful tool for learning. Our job is to draw their attention to the things that need to be learned. The second fact is technology is valuable. That's why, although it's dangerous, we cannot get rid of it completely. And as we have said before, technology is valuable because it can make education more accessible. It can make education more interactive and personalized. And technology in today's world, it's for students, it's less of a device and more of an environment. And I think my generation experienced the world with and without today's technology and the digital environment and social media and other features that today's generation was born in. I mean, our students don't know anything else. They were born in a world with devices all around them. They interact with friends, family. They interact with the world. They learn. They watch using these devices. So in a way, it is inevitable. So there is no point of avoiding technology. The third fact is that it is growing fast. And with that fast growth and change comes new opportunities, as you have just said. And it has certainly, of course, brought some challenges, and it certainly affected teachers' well-being, of course. Now, I would like you to describe the teacher in the picture in one word. How can you describe her? Okay, Mr. Sneem says multifunctional. Excellent, exactly. What else? How can we describe this teacher using technology? Resourceful. Excellent. I like your positive. Okay. Ms. Samiha says trying to balance. Ms. Ghada or Dr. Ghada says creative. Yes. And overwhelmed. Okay. Considering the variability of learners. I think if you would look at her in a positive way, you would say she's engaged. She is resourceful. She is connected. She is interacting. She is creative in a way because she has many resources. But if you look at her with a more negative eye, you might think she looks isolated. She looks overwhelmed. She looks flooded with information, as Samiha says. And I think it really describes or captures the idea here of teachers in the digital age. And teachers face unique pressures that impact their overall well-being. And because the integration of technology into education brings both positive and negative consequences for educators. And we need to understand these aspects to support the mental, emotional, and physical health of teachers. And I would also like to add that technology did not only affect teachers' teaching practices, it also influenced the influence of technology exceeded their classroom. The way they interact with parents has changed. The way they do their work as part of their organization has changed as well. So they have now endless texts from parents, online meetings, emails. They use work platforms, online PD platforms, and also they are engaged in professional communities. There are new concepts that they have to digest and use and understand, like networked learning, flipped classroom, blended learning, and etc. And I think this has a toll on their well-being and their ability to perform their work. So this takes us to the concept of teacher well-being. So what do we mean by teachers' well-being? Now, teachers' well-being can be broadly defined as the state where teachers perceive job satisfaction, experience positive emotions more frequently than negative emotions, and function well both as a teacher and in their other roles in life. And of course, as parents, spouse, family members, friends, and so on. And they can function well. And when we say functioning well, that includes supportive professional relationships. I mean, when we say functioning well, it doesn't mean only inside the classroom, but within their professional community, and having supportive professional relationships, professional growth, and a feeling of self-efficacy. So in short, teachers' well-being or well-being means feeling good and functioning well. I'm having trouble pronouncing words today. So in short, it's feeling good and functioning well. Now, why is it important to talk about teachers' well-being? An annual survey concerned with teachers' well-being in the UK collected data from over 3,000 education staff. And I've tried to find similar data here in Saudi, but I couldn't find any. So please, if you can, if you have any, please feel free to send them to me. This survey found that 59% of staff have considered leaving the sector, and they considered leaving education, whether as teachers or managers, and they have considered leaving education within the past academic year. And this survey was done after the pandemic. So, I mean, everyone was already used to using technology in education. So 59% of the staff have considered leaving the sector in the past academic year due to pressures on their mental health and well-being. 67% of them are senior leaders, and 59% of them are school teachers. 55% of staff have actively sought to change or leave their current jobs. So they have started looking for other jobs. They probably started preparing themselves to leave, and they were actively seeking other jobs outside education or outside schools. 78% of all staff experience mental health symptoms due to their work. And again, 87% of them are senior leaders, and 76% of them are school teachers. 68% of staff cited volume of workload as the main reason of thinking about leaving their jobs. So the main reason they are experiencing hard time doing their job and not feeling satisfied with their performance, experiencing anxiety, they blamed the big amount of work that they need to do in order to function as teachers or educators. Now, when we think also about why is teacher well-being important to talk about, it has a direct relationship with the student's performance. And because teachers' engagement and well-being is as important as students' engagement and well-being, because without proper engagement, without proper satisfaction, without proper sense of efficacy, teachers will not be able to perform as they are required to do. Of course, when we talk about technology in education and in the workplace in general, there are many potential positive aspects. And I think it's not hard to find positives when it comes to using technology. Of course, it enhances the efficacy. Technology streamlines administrative tasks, allowing teachers, let's hope, allowing teachers to focus more on teaching and less on paperwork. Technology offers great opportunities when it comes to professional development. Online platforms offer accessible professional development opportunities like the one we are enjoying today, enabling teachers to expand their knowledge and skills and expand their connections. Of course, it has a positive effect on students' engagement if done properly, of course. Digital tools can make lessons more engaging, leading to a more satisfying teaching experience. And I think introducing technology would prepare our students better to their future jobs, because this is, whether we like it or not, this is the world. This is what they use. This is what they will use. And this is what they will need in the future, inshallah. And the last point when it comes to potentials of using technology is the improvement of work-life balance. When it comes to, of course, even when we talk about Zoom meetings, it has, cut the cost, cut the time when it comes to having work meetings, and it also having the option of virtual learning for teachers can help teachers increase their income without risking or losing their family time, or so they can, use their time more efficiently. And it makes it easier for teachers to maintain a work-life balance. But again, if done well. Now, let's have a look at the negative aspects of technology on teachers' well-being. And remember, in the statistics, teachers reported that their main source of stress and their main reason why they want to leave their job is the increased workload. Because preparing digital materials, grading online assignments, and managing digital classrooms can increase, of course, the workload. And using technology would probably expand teachers' ability and potential, resulting in improving the quality of their work. However, that doesn't necessarily mean it will be any easier for the teachers, because most probably the number of daily tasks will increase. Work-life balance again. I don't know if you remember when we talked, if you remember what was it like during the pandemic. So because we worked from home, and of course that the luxury of working from home, we were able to spend more time with our families. But the downside of such circumstances is that it makes it hard for us to switch off and relax. And it's hard for us to draw the line between work hours and personal time. It's because now it's really hard to stay away from your phone, out of your work WhatsApp group, for example. We now have meetings during our family time. We have online classes, of course, in the evening. This is something we haven't done before the pandemic. And this is, of course, has affected severely our life or work-life balance. Digital fatigue. Of course, teachers may experience screen fatigue due to excessive time spent on computers, leading to physical and mental strain. And again, and this is something I've personally suffered from spending many hours in front of my laptop, preparing for lessons or giving lessons, or reporting after lessons, or marking assignments, attending meetings, doing files. Really had a toll on my health. And it even affected my mental health in terms of I felt really isolated, because most of the time I was either working or thinking about work, or responding to someone via WhatsApp or any other texting app, talking about work. And of course, the frustration due to technological gaps. Not all teachers have equal access to technology. That created a gap within their skills and performance. They felt that they cannot keep up with other teachers. They cannot function well. And this is even worse because of the accountability and accountability factors, and when administration checks on their performance based on students' outcome, which which is not great all the time, especially in online settings. It's hard for someone who is not used to teach online to be able to deliver effective lessons. And of course, the levels of students' engagement that we have experienced, the low levels of students' engagement that we have experienced before, of course, made us, of course, it also, you know, affected our self-confidence and our sense of achievement and self-efficacy. Can I teach anymore? Am I a good teacher? I cannot do my job. I think this skills gap and our inability to keep up as fast as we like made it really hard on us. The cognitive overload. And when we talk about, and when we say cognitive overload, we mean the state in which the informational input exceeds cognitive capabilities. So our cognitive abilities, or cognitively, we cannot process all of the information that we get every second of every day. Think about the information and the cognitive overload that we have to endure during the day when we check different apps, when we respond to different messages, when we see the news, when we follow people on social media, when we just scroll on Twitter, on Instagram, different pictures, different pieces of information. Not everything has the same effect on us, or not everything is as important, but still it's cognitively exhausting. Now, there are also challenges faced by teachers in the digital age. And this is, again, going back to our time during the pandemic, when we found ourselves in virtual classrooms overnight. The lack of training, and many educators receive insufficient training in effectively integrating technology into their teaching methods and teaching practices. And it's not only that, sometimes we shower teachers with more than they need, or more than they can digest before they can apply it. And sometimes, and I have seen this in higher education and in schools, sometimes the amount of training is too much, too soon. Sometimes the training is even irrelevant to their situation. There isn't enough support after they receive the training. There isn't enough time for them to implement the training. Teachers are sometimes forced to take training that they don't need now, but probably would need in few months, once they are confident with what they have already learned. Sometimes we don't give teachers enough time to implement and experiment inside the classroom and use what they have learned during training. So this, I think, takes the value of whatever training they receive. So it's not only the lack of training, it's the lack of quality training that is relevant and timely and supported. There's the challenge also of digital equity. and ensuring that all students have access to technology and the internet, um, uh, which of course can affect the educational process. There are many incidents when students fail to participate during class because they don't have internet connection, for example. So this is a really big challenge. Students are not the same when it comes to the resources they have, the abilities they have, the skills they have, the information they have. They are not the same. So probably this is a challenge for teachers, that they have to also endure inside the classroom, and it's a source of disappointment as well. Privacy concerns, and teachers must navigate complex issues surrounding students' data privacy and online security, and this also includes cyberbullying and online behavior. But because teachers are also affected by this aspect when their social media accounts, for example, are known for their students, they could be targeted, or they could be a target of cyberbullying and privacy concerns. Teachers should also be aware of the fact that students need to be educated when it comes to this aspect. Stress and overwhelm, and this is a big challenge as well. And when we say the word technology, we think as if technology is the magic word that that is the solution to all our problems. It's not the case. Balancing the demands of the digital classroom and the traditional teaching methods can lead to stress and burnout. So when we say technology, that doesn't mean that AI is going to do it for us. There is a big amount of work that needs to be done by the teacher as well. And there are students-related issues. So issues like digital well-being and the different areas students need support while interacting in the digital world. There is the issue of enabling students to evaluate the resources that they use to learn. This is also the aspect of cheating and the academic dishonesty. And this is, of course, a challenge that teachers need to understand and to face. Now, let's have a look at the strategies to promote teachers' well-being. And I will start with strategies that can be implemented by teachers themselves. Digital detox. And what I mean by digital detox is taking a conscious break from digital media by engaging in explicitly non-digital tasks, focusing on the physical world activities that we used to do. There are many, I think, apps that can help us with our screen time. There are many strategies that we can use, like, for example, allocating a specific time to answer emails, and it has proven to be very sufficient for teachers. The second brain method. And the second brain method is it's when we use technology to expand our intellect. So, for example, when you use note-taking apps to take notes during the day, to take notes about, to capture your ideas, to take even voice notes. I usually use WhatsApp to whenever I need to plan something, or I need to do something, and or I have an idea of something. So I would send myself a voice note, so I don't forget later. I also share files in there, so I make sure that I don't forget about them, or I don't forget where I put them, because with all the amount of information that I have to deal with every day, it makes it hard for me to only rely on my brain. I certainly need technology in that sense to expand my brain, if I might say. Collaboration. And of course, collaborating with colleagues. This could include designing a bank of online activities, for example, sharing best practices when it comes to using technology in the classroom. These can, of course, help teachers in a big way. Now, we can talk also about what can institutions do for their teachers to improve their well-being. Of course, professional development is a key word here. Schools should invest in ongoing training to equip teachers with skills they need to effectively use technology. Of course, I think it's really important for the training to be, as I said, relevant. It needs to be supported. Teachers need time to implement whatever they have learned. Institutions should, of course, consider workload management and implement policies to manage workload, and issue some restrictions when it comes to invading teachers' personal time, and there should be some regulations that regulate when and how that teachers can or should work. And I think it's the issue with teachers, that most of their energy and most of their work sometimes is done outside the class, not inside the class, although their working hours are all inside the class. So whatever they need to do before or after the lesson, or any admin work should be done outside their working hours, because their working hours are only the ones they spend inside class, which is unfair. Mental health support. Schools and institutions should offer resources for managing stress, including access to counseling and mental health services. And I think this is an aspect that is often overlooked, especially in our region, unfortunately. And finally, flexible teaching models. And we should be encouraging flexible teaching models that balance digital and traditional methods, allowing teachers to adapt to their needs and those of their students. And this can only happen if we have more flexible working hours. So if I only ask teachers, I demand teachers to be there in the school from, for example, from 7 to 2, okay? And then I assume that they will give online classes for their students when needed after work. I think this is, again, something that will not be very effective in the long run, and will cost us teachers. So I would like to conclude my presentation by this quote: "We need technology in every classroom and in every student and teacher's hand, because it's the pen and paper of our time, and it's the lens through which we experience much of our world." And I would like to remind you and myself that although we use technology to improve, and although technology has improved the quality of our work, we shouldn't ignore the fact that it might affect the quality of our life. So thank you all for listening. I think I have exceeded my time. Sorry for that. Here are my LinkedIn and email. I would love to hear from you all. And please feel free if you have any questions.
Thank you so much, Ms. Hadeel, for such a valuable session, actually. All of your work touched me as a teacher, and I think everyone else in this meeting. So thank you so much. Now
Thank you.
we will be taking questions addressed to Ms. Hadeel. Anyone would like to ask any questions, please send them in the chat box so Ms. Hadeel can answer you.
Thank you, everyone, for attending the session.